Hey guys, this is Darren here, soon to be known as DJD. If you need a DJ for any type of wedding events, parties, even private parties at your own home, you can call me at 812-212-1675 or email the Double D Podcast, which is double D Podcast 123 at gmail.com. I also have a personal email. It is darren.schneider94 at gmail.com. Give us a holler and let us make your night very special, whether it's a wedding or a private party or even a party at your own residence. I mean, you don't have to have a super huge crew. I mean, we've got six wonderful speakers, and they will make a world of difference in any party atmosphere. So give us a call, 812-212-1675. Thank you.
Welcome, everybody. I am your host, Derek. Welcome to We Need to Talk. Hope everybody's enjoying their September. September's almost over, though. And once October gets here, it is Halloween time. Then before you know it, it'll be Thanksgiving and then Christmas. Holy crap. The holiday season is right around the corner. So hope everybody's enjoying the pre-holiday season because, man, once Halloween hits, it feels like it's Christmas in a couple weeks. So hope everybody's enjoying the pre-holiday season. Football's on. Weather's getting cooler out. Leaves are changing. Great time of year. Soup season. Love myself a fall day. So, hope everybody's enjoying it. Today we're going to be getting a little bit political, a little bit spicy in this episode. We're going to be talking about the mainstream media and my opinions on it and the such. Now, it's important to note that although I'm going to be talking about politics, I'm not going to be getting super political in this episode just because I know that there's people who listen to this who are of both. So I want to give everybody a fair chance. I want everybody to listen to this, be able to relate to it, or understand my perspective on things. And I'm also not a super political person anymore. When it comes to mainstream media, I don't do. We're going to be talking about when I talk about mainstream media. I'm talking about Fox News and CNN specifically. Those are going to be the two. When I say mainstream media, that's what I mean. I'm going to try not to say Fox and CNN every single time, but I probably will. I'm going to try not to though. I'm just going to say mainstream media, but I mean both. Just keep that in mind. Now, growing up, I don't really remember my mom and dad watching mainstream media sources. If they did, I wasn't in the room. The only time I really remember them watching it was like 2012, the 2012 election, watching the results. That's really about it. I don't really remember them watching it outside of local news. Local news I watched growing up. Um, I grew up in an era where Saturday morning cartoons weren't even a thing. There weren't really cartoons on in the morning, but local news was on. My mom would wake us up for school. We'd come downstairs. She'd either cook breakfast for us, or me and my sister would get some cereal or whatever, and we'd watch Fox 19 here in the tri-state Cincinnati area. Fox 19, Rob Williams and Sheila Gray. And during the winter, it was always a fun time because you'd watch for your school at the bottom of the screen, like it's the draft, and you'd see for your school. It's like, all right, we're in the B's. We're going to have a long wait. D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, P, Q, R, S, 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 B, S, D, S, R, O, S, U. There we are. 2-hour delay, baby. Good times, man. But that was really what I remember growing up was with that. Didn't really watch politics. And I'm sure the news then was just as depressing as it is now. Right? Because you watch your local news, and I mean, if you turn it on, breaking news, 10 people killed overnight. It's like, oh my God. Breaking news, 14 auto accidents just happened in the last 10 seconds. Like, Jesus Christ. Just in, the world is ending. Oh, man. Welcome to Action 6 News. Tonight, why are people so stupid? You do never anything positive. It's never anything positive. It's always negative. They don't lead off with tonight a dog saved in a heroic effort by a one-armed man and a guy with no hands. They say the guy with no hands and a one-armed man saved a dog from a fire. We're going to kick off with that news story tonight. No, they don't ever do that, do they? It's always a tragedy. Man loses hands in tragic accident. That's how it would start. It never starts with anything positive. And you have to wonder, why is that? Go because blood sells, let's be honest, right? Even with local news, blood sells. It sucks that it is that way, but that's what people tune into. They want to tune in and they want to see what to be scared of. And on a local level, it kind of at least makes a little bit of sense. You know, if you live in the city, you want to know about the shooting that happened a couple blocks down. You want to get the news. You want to, is it safe to go into, the city this weekend? Like, what's going on? You want to stay up on stuff, up to date on stuff, and I get that. But on a national level, it's a little bit scarier. But before we get into the national news, I just wanted to say that I'm sure the news was like that when I was growing up, but I was so young that I didn't really notice it. So I didn't really, I was not really watching the news for the news. I was watching it just because it was on. Was not comprehending any of it. I watched, like, when I was a kid. Fun fact about me: I actually really liked the weather. When I was a kid, I really wanted to be a meteorologist. When I was like all of elementary school up until maybe about like beginning of middle school, that was kind of like my thought process. So I really liked when Frank Marzullo would come on. I watched myself. I'd be like, "Oh, what's going on with the weather? Oh, it's going to be 85 tomorrow. Why is that, Frank? Let me know." But that was the local news. That's what I grew up with. And then when 2016 happened, everybody knows 2016, that was a crazy election cycle. Everybody got super political in 2016. I mean, I was a 16-year-old, so I was a sophomore in high school, and it was a crazy year. That was a year where everybody was political, including myself. I was that way. I started watching videos on YouTube, and I would start, watching the news with my parents. And it was just like, that was just like I became one of the super political people. And it became something that I spent most of my time watching and listening to. And that was everybody, it seemed like, back in 2016, or at least everybody I knew in 2016 was that way. And I had my opinions then, and they've changed since, but I had my opinions then. But I don't, that was just, it was weird how it happened. And then it seemed like ever since then, some people have gotten away from the politics and some people have stayed in. And I'll be honest with you, I've gotten so far out of politics that, like, and listen, I know it's an American right and everybody has the right to do it. And I'm not saying you should do something or not. I don't plan on voting. I mean, I was so political from 2016 until about 2021, 2022-ish. 2021, really. When the podcast started, I think I started the podcast because I needed another hobby, because I stopped being one of those people who was super political all the time. So right around then was when I stopped, and it was right around 2021. So for about 5 years, I was super political, and I knew jack shit about politics, and I still know jack shit about politics. But I've been around it since 2016, so 7 years roughly. And one thing I've noticed is that when you watch the news, and I'm talking about Fox and CNN again, the mainstream news, or NBC, or whatever it is, when you watch, you're thinking you're watching the news. That's the goal, right? You want to know what the president's up to. You want to know what Congress is up to. You want to know what bills are up for vote. You want to know what the election's looking like. You want to know what Florida thinks about masks, and you want to know what New York's doing about COVID, and you want to know about what California is doing about immigration, and what Kansas is doing about trans people. Like, that seems to be what draws people in. You just want to know what people are up to because you have your own preconceived notions, and you're watching the news not to change your mind. You're watching the news to reaffirm what you already believe in. That's the goal. Let's be honest. When you tune on to CNN, when you turn on Fox, your goal is to see what you already believe. You're not looking to learn. If you voted for Trump in 2016 or 2020, let's just say 2020 because it was the most recent election. If you voted for Trump in 2020, you're not turning on CNN. If you voted for Biden in 2020, you're not turning on Fox. You're turning on CNN. And if you voted for Trump, you're turning on Fox because you want to hear about what's going on. You want to hear that you're mad at somebody in New York because they passed there's a new rule where you have to wear a mask. And this isn't a real rule, by the way. I'm using this as a wild example. Just want to make that clear. I don't know if this is a rule or not, but you want to watch, mask laws in New York. They're mandating everybody wear a mask in New York. Mad about that. Or if you tune on CNN, you're like, everybody's just able to do what they want in Florida. They don't have to wear masks. Psychos. They're the reason the pandemic's still going on. You're not looking into it. You're not finding out any facts. You have people who come on and will state facts. But isn't it weird how it's the same argument? You have somebody on Fox News say, well, masks aren't needed. They don't work. And you have somebody on CNN who comes on and be like, well, masks are super needed. They work. And it's like, well, wait a minute. Hold up. Who's right? Who's wrong? I don't know. And no, neither does the viewer. And honestly, neither do the fucking people who are talking on your screen. They wear suits and you trust them. But honestly, I've gotten to the point now where I'm 23 years old. I'm so disinterested in politics, and I'm still super interested in it. I follow it, but I'm so disinterested in it that I don't plan on voting. I don't trust people in fucking suits. And I think maybe we shouldn't as a country. Name the last good president to wear a suit. John F. Kennedy, he didn't have a head. Well, he had one for most of his time, but not near the end there. He lost it in Dallas. But my point is, it's like they lie to you. That's what they do. These are paid people to lie. That's all it is. It doesn't matter what you watch, Fox, CNN. They'll tell the baseline truth, but then lie to you about the rest. Like they'll say Senate convened today. That's the truth. And then after it's like abortions are banned forever and never coming back ever, and the women are going to be locked up in rooms. Or it'll be on the flip side of that. It'll be like you can have an abortion up until the kid's 18. And it's like, what? How can both be true? It's fear mongering. They want you to be scared, because when you're scared, you tune back in, and that's all it is. They want you to be scared. And listen, and I'm not somebody who's necessarily saying like they want to control you, but I'm kind of saying they are, I guess. I'm more saying politicians want to control you, but they're using mainstream media to do that. Politicians are using mainstream media to make sure that you're scared. It's kind of like when political ads run. When political ads run, it's always like, if you don't vote yes on issue 45, people will die. They will gulags are coming back if you don't vote no on issue 12. And it's like, I mean, what? I got to vote no. I got to vote yes now, I guess. I don't know. No, I don't remember what I just said. But the point is, it's like political ads are kind of the same as the fucking news. And people get so mad when political ads come back on. And boy, can I not wait until they come back on. I don't have cable, so I don't get to see the ads anyway. So I could give a fuck less about ads coming back. If ads come back, great. I don't get to see them anyway. But they're kind of the same thing. Doesn't matter who your favorite host is. They're reading a teleprompter. Somebody wrote it for them. And most of the time, they don't believe what they say. They're just saying it because they have to keep their job. Tucker Carlson was the highest rated news host and somehow lost his job. And you can say what you want about Tucker. I'm not going to get into the political side of Tucker, whatever. I'm just saying he was the number one host on Fox News, and he got fired because he would talk about things that the people who ran Fox didn't like. And maybe that was wrong, maybe that was right, I don't know, but I'm just saying it was the number one. And that's another thing too that you hear a lot about. You hear a lot about people saying like fake news needs to be taken off of the internet and stuff. And it's like, listen, when I was growing up, let me take a drink real quick. My mouth's getting dry. I grew up in the internet. My whole life, my mom and dad did a very good job of protecting me and my sister from certain things on the internet, but there was ways that we could get around that. And I've seen some crazy shit on the internet. I knew what flat earth was, what flat earth theory was, JFK conspiracies, moon landing conspiracies. I've seen it all. I choose to believe certain things, and I choose not to believe others. 9/11 conspiracy videos. I've seen it all. But I made my own decisions about that. If I would have just went based off of the first video that I saw when I was young, everything's fake, nothing's real. But I didn't. I used common sense as I got older. and realize that there's certain things that are crazy, but those people have the right to those beliefs. They should be able to say what they want because they're just as crazy as the fucking people who are wearing suits talking on a screen for an hour a night. The only difference is that their lies aren't as grandiose. Their lies aren't that the earth is hollow. Their lies are things that could possibly be true and are technically kind of true, but not really. You know what I mean? It always seems that way. It's kind of like how legislation passes bills. It's how legislation gets passed. That's what I meant to say. Sorry. It's how bills get passed. It's like they voted no on a bill for free water for everybody. And then you read into the bill and you're like, well, that's also because everyone was going to live in the same, building. So free water, but good luck getting it. Going to run out pretty soon. The water can't, we can't, you know what I'm saying? It's like, they're going to put people in prison. 50% of the people are going to be put in prison is inside the bill. And when you voted no, you look terrible because on the front of the bill, it said free money for everybody. You know what I'm saying? It's like free housing for half the population. But then inside the bill, you realize that half the population that's getting the free housing is in jail. It's like one of those things. It's like, there's always just a lie. There's always just a sheen of lies over things. And the mainstream media is the one that starts it. They're just doing the work for the politicians, but they're still the ones doing it. And the weird thing is that as I've gotten older, I've realized something. I think I'm probably wrong. Again, I know I'm 23 and I'm young and I'm dumb and I think I know everything. But this is kind of like a PSA video. It's kind of like me voicing how I feel and seeing how everybody else feels about it as well. You know what I mean? And I feel like people are arguing about left and right all the time. Oh, you're a snowflake leftist. Unfriended. You're an alt-right Nazi. Unfriended. And it's like, wow. No one can just be different. I'm friends with people I don't agree with politically. First off, I don't talk about politics with my friends. Certain friends, excuse me, by the way. Certain friends I do. Certain friends I don't, though. Because it's not the most important thing in personal communication. Like when I talk to somebody at work or, I meet somebody, I don't want to talk about politics first thing. If I get comfortable with you, I'll kind of open up. But for the most part, I'm not going to talk that way. Because it's just, how do you treat people is the most important thing. As long as you're good to me, I'll be good to you. You could have a 360 belief on my beliefs. Everything I believe, you could hate. But if you treat me like a good person and I treat you like a good person, we should be able to get along. But it's not that way. It's that way because when you watch these guys on TV, these guys and gals on TV, they're, that's all you hear about. It's like, well, if you voted for Donald Trump, you're a terrible human being. If you voted for Biden, you're an idiot. And it's like, or they just had a differing opinion. It doesn't mean that you're a bad person or that you're stupid, but that's what they want because that's what brings people back in. Hate brings people back in. If we saw positive news stories to start local news, or if we didn't hear that all Democrats are stupid or all Republicans are racist, if we didn't hear that, we wouldn't tune in. We love to hate. The news has figured out they've broke the code. They know how to make people tune in, and it's hate. It's not love. No one likes to love. Everyone loves to hate. It's so much easier to hate because it doesn't take emotional intelligence. It's easy to just say everybody who disagrees with me is an idiot. It's not easy to say, well, let me make sure I'm right first. Or here's why I think I'm right. I understand why you think you're right, but I understand. That's too hard. It takes way too much time. It's a lot easier to just say, fuck you. But we're raising a group of people who are becoming like that. There's young kids right now who are graduating high school. I say young kids, they're 5 years younger than me. 18, 19, 17, 16, 15, kids who are like young as, like, let's just say 12, who are growing up in this weird world where it's just a gotcha mentality on everybody. And I don't think that's the right way to do it. And and I'm talking in the political sense. It's just such a weird world to live in. And I don't want to live in a world where that's the way to be. It's one of the things I love about wrestling and you know, sports and music. Like, I can listen to music and just get away. Go watch wrestling and get away from it all. I just want to be I just want an escape from it, because everywhere you turn, you have people in suits lying to us, whether it be politicians or mainstream media people, whether you work for Fox or the government, someone's lying to somebody, you know, and ultimately it is just hate that they want to spread. And, I know this isn't necessarily, and don't get me wrong, and you can find this on social media, of course. You can find this on podcasts and news station people who claim to be news organizations like BuzzFeed or the Daily Wire, right? Like, they know how to get clicks. You're not going to see the Daily Wire post something positive about Joe Biden. You're not going to see BuzzFeed say something positive about Donald Trump, because they know what clicks get them. They know their audience. They're pandering to the audience. Ultimately, that's all it is, just pandering to the audience. And ultimately, they just want you coming back because, listen, here's the reason why Fox News wants you to come back. They don't believe in the word they're preaching, and neither does CNN. But they make money, right? The anchors who are telling it to you, the lies to you, make money from or from, Fox News or from CNN, and they make money off of the ads that they sell. And the only way that they make money off of the ads is if people watch. That's all it is. They just want their money. And it sucks that it's that way. I mean, I don't think we're ever going to get to a point where news is going to be truthful, So that's my opinion. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. But I just don't think we're ever going to get to a point ever again where you can turn on the news and be 100% on it. Like, no, it's being honest. And COVID was a real eye opener for that, where it seemed like the news was changing every single day. So it's crazy, and it is what it is. I'm not going to go into it anymore because it's weird. Well, real quick, it is weird. COVID's a weird thing because COVID's been around now for almost 4 years, which is crazy. And during 2020, if you turn on one news station, it was the most serious thing. If you turn on the next news station, it wasn't as serious. In 2021, one news station was saying it was gone. One news station saying it wasn't. In 2022, now, this year, it's not 2022, sorry. 2022, both were saying it was gone, finally. 2023, though, now it's coming back. And I'm not saying it was gone in the sense of like you can't get it anymore. I'm saying it's gone in the sense that it's like a serious thing that everybody needs to keep an eye on, and we need to shelter in place. Now in 2023, people wearing masks again, and one news station saying that's crazy, and one news station saying that's the right thing to do. And it's like, I don't fucking know. I know what I want to do. It's something in the middle. It's not just like, it's just it's so frustrating. And then when you're someone like me who finds themselves in the middle of almost every single psychotic take that there is in the media or on the internet, you're called like a fence sitter. Make a decision, make your mind up, stand for something. And it's like, I don't know I'm overwhelmed. I got so much fucking people yelling. I got too many people yelling at me. I don't know what to do. It's like, if you sit down, like I said, I have my opinions on things, but they change based on what I'm reading, what I'm watching, whatever. It's just, I do stand for certain things. There's no doubt. There's certain things I do stand on. But for the most part, think people need to be a little bit more flexible. They need to be a little bit more like a sponge. You know what I mean? So, well, I think that's all I can rant for in this one. I could really rant for another hour and a half if we went down that road, but I went a little bit later than I wanted to. I wanted to get this done about an hour ago. No one knows what I'm talking about, but I wanted to get this done like an hour ago and I couldn't. I kept restarting because I wanted to make sure I was portraying my true beliefs on things the right way. And I think I've done that. I'm not going to lie to you, I'm a little freaked out right now because in my headphones, I can hear people talking. And I live in an apartment, so I think it's the people upstairs. When I take my headphones off, I can't hear them. That's a little weird. That's freaking me out a little bit, so I'm going to get out of here. I don't know. Listen, man, thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed. Like I said, if you're watching this, leave a like, comment in the comment section below. Be sure to subscribe, hit the notification bell. Double D Podcast is YouTube exclusive now. The We Need to Talk episodes will still have audio. However, I'm not going to be sharing the audio links. Just the YouTube videos will be shared from now on of both the We Need to Talks and the Double D Podcast episodes. So that's a lot of fun. Follow us on Instagram, the_D_podcast. You can follow me on Twitter, DJ Dub 00. Tweet about wrestling mostly, some other things other times. Follow us on TikTok. That is Double D Podcast 1. I just found out that the noise is coming from outside, ladies and gentlemen. I heard a phone. No, I heard a phone. That is crazy. This microphone picks that up. That is crazy. Sorry. The noise started as a woman's phone or as a woman's voice talking, and it sounded like Siri. But it threw me off and I got a little nervous, got a little scared when I took my headphones off and I couldn't hear it. And I'm like, well, where is that coming from? And I just heard a phone. There's a car that always makes a call right around this time. And I can always hear it through the walls. They have their like volume in their car turned up. I'm trying to sleep for work and people are turning up volume in their car. It's like ridiculous. But anyway, hope you guys enjoyed. A lot of exciting stuff coming on the Double D Podcast channel. Interviews, reviews, a lot of fun stuff. We Need to Talk will keep coming back. So stay tuned and see you guys next time on We Need to Talk.